distinguished colleagues, Mr. Pandey, the DG of Aadhaar, Mr. Sutosh Sharma, Secretary Science and Technology, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'm delighted to be here. I still recall about 6 or 7 years back, I was working in the fisheries sector of Kerala. And one of the challenges was to raise the earnings of traditional fishermen. Almost 70% of their returns from their catch used to go to middlemen. There were 13, 14 middlemen in between. So we formed self-help groups. We provided outboard motors, new fishing crafts, new fishing nets. But the biggest challenge we faced was in opening bank accounts for fishermen. Chasing physical bank managers and chasing physical banks was a nightmare. It used to take us almost 8-9 months to open a bank account for self-help groups for individual fishermen and fisherwomen. Just about 2 weeks back, one of the bank, they walked into my room with a handheld device and opened my account in 55 seconds flat. So what we've seen is this radical shift from 9-10 months for a traditional fisherman to 55 seconds in opening bank accounts. And this was on a handheld device using biometric. So what has happened in India is a radical transformation through Aadhaar and through the digital process. And this, to my mind, is the paradigm shift which has taken place in India, because India has very effectively utilized Aadhaar, and the process of digitization has been spread across government in several ways, one of which is that we very effectively use direct benefit transfers. India, as many of you would recall, the then Prime Minister had said that only 15 paisa reaches the poor people of India. And we today, across 500 schemes of the government, we transfer money through direct benefit transfer, DBT. And the government saves close to about 90,000 crores. So India has actually made itself a very efficient country from being a very inefficient country in providing benefits to people. Today, across scholarships, across salaries, whole range of government schemes, you put money into the bank accounts of individual beneficiaries, and this has enabled us. Earlier we used to transfer money from center to the state, state to the district, district to the local tehsildar, and the tehsildar, and there used to be huge leakages. Now we put money straight into the bank accounts, and he withdraws the money using Aadhaar, and therefore huge efficiency through the digital process, all on a real-time basis. And therefore the public finance management system has also led to just-in-time release of funds and efficient management in the use of funds, including its ultimate utilization. I think the other is this huge push towards digital payment, and many of you would recall that after demonetization we pushed for digital payment, and as of this year, close to about 72,000 crore has been digitally transferred. Last year, actually close to about 72,000 crore was digitally transacted through, a vast range of transactions. And it has, one of the key things that has happened is that government came out with BHIM, the Bharat Interface for Money. And we thought BHIM will be a very successful initiative, which it was. But soon we saw Google come out with its Google page. And I'm quite sure that in due course, we had Samsung Pay, and now we'll have WhatsApp payment and many more. So on the top of this public infrastructure of unified payment interface, not only the government but the private sector is innovating. And therefore, you will see a huge amount of innovation taking place, and in due course, My belief is that with QR code coming in, with a lot of innovation coming in, we'll be able to push a lot of digital payment using mobile. So, the other thing which I mentioned was that if you look at income tax today, India is the only country where 99.1% of the people pay income tax by digital means. It's all online. And digitization has led to lower costs in collection of direct taxes. Almost 92% of all income tax returns have been filed online. And the IT department has received 6.84 crores income tax returns in 2017-18, which is a growth of about 26%. And this has led to an additional 1 crore more new tax returns. So just imagine the size and scale. The size and scale of digitization in the income tax department has been so enormous. No other country has been able to do this. I've spoken to you about digital payments, which have become extremely simple thanks to BHIM. And the last point I want to make is that the rollout of the goods and services GST has resulted in almost a 50% increase in unique indirect taxpayers compared to the pre-GST system. So this translates to a very substantial 3.4 million new indirect taxpayers, leading to a radical transformation, a radical digital transformation of the Indian economy. So you have GST, you have income tax, you have digital payment, you have digital payments, and you have the public finance management system. All these government has pushed for digitization. And the last of which is what the Prime Minister himself does, is this through digital means, he does this Pragati, which is an interface with all the secretaries to track projects on a real-time basis. And he has very effectively used technology and digital means to monitor, review, evaluate programs, and therefore a vast amount of push has been given through this Pragati as well. So government actually has pushed for digitization, and one of the big things that will happen is that with Ayushman Bharat coming in, we will be linking up our primary healthcare centers with the district hospitals digitally. And what this will enable us to do is that a poor person who goes to a sub-primary or a primary healthcare center where doctors may not be available, where nurses will be there, but he will be able to get the benefit of doctors sitting in the district health center. Similarly, so 150,000 primary healthcare centers getting digitally linked to the district hospitals. And secondly, the biggest insurance scheme on the health side, close to about 50 crore people will benefit from this healthcare insurance scheme, which will all be cashless, paperless, and portable. So that a person from Bihar going to Kerala will also benefit from the scheme. Cashless, portable, and totally paperless scheme. This will be all digital. So what the health sector will throw up will be a huge amount of data. And we in NITI Aayog have come out with the Indian National Health Stack, which is up for discussion. It's a paper which has been put up for discussion, for debate and discussion. And eventually the country must benefit in terms of better efficiency, in terms of better healthcare, in terms of being able to track individuals' health history. And so my belief is that the government has done enormously well in pushing for digitization. It's now time for Mr. Pandey will talk at length about what he has done through Aadhaar, which has been a radical transformation of the country. And behind Aadhaar, all these many layers have been built up. So government has done its bit. Government has tried to make India very easy, simple. Part of the reason why we jumped up 42 position in the ease of doing business was because we have been able to digitize many processes, do away with human intervention. So as we go along, our objective is digitize every area of governance, make India easy and simple. For years, India has been a very complex nation, making it difficult for common man to access government services.
But the rapid adoption of digital technology across sector is making things easy, eliminating all forms of human intervention, and to my mind, this will have a huge impact on the efficiency of the government. The government has been the leader in digitization. This is one area where government has taken the lead and has digitized our process and has moved forward. Government has made massive breakthroughs in GST, in income tax, in PFMS, in Aadhaar, in many areas. And to my mind, the private sector in this area has remained backwards. And the private sector needs to move forward and take advantage of many of these vast infrastructures that the government has put up. And we'll be very happy to work in partnership with the private sector in all these areas. Thank you very much, ladies.